What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. This is your 9-round feature for the North American World Championship qualifier. Why does it say round 8? I'm pretty sure that this is round 9. I guess I could be wrong. Anyways, it's Qliphort versus Qliphort. Try not to fall asleep during this match. I'm gonna try not to fall asleep while commentating this match. This is a match where it's kind of just like a little luck-sacky, to be honest. I don't know. With Qliphort running all these loser turns and all this crap, I don't even know how the match really goes. I would imagine the player who goes first has an advantage because, you know, they get to use their scout first or whatever. They get to set up first. Alright, a card that would be insane in this match would be Storm. If anybody's still playing that card, Storm would be amazing in this matchup. Alright, so it's Adam Scheffer versus Austin Lemire. And looks like Scheffer went first. He opened up with Scout, got himself a sacrifice. Gotta look at his field again. I think he set 2 cards in the back row. And then I can't tell what that monster is. Ooh, got that Mind Crush though. Kind of surprised he didn't Mind Crush Scout. I guess he just wanted to get the life points out of his opponents. I guess he figured it doesn't matter if he has Scout. He'll pay. Why is he at 7,250? He should be at 7,200. Yeah, I guess he figured it doesn't matter about his life points, honestly, or it doesn't matter if he gets his Scout if he can't really do anything with it. So I guess that's why he probably just let him have it. And plus, he has his own Scout, so he probably was looking to honestly see if he could kill him. That looks like a carrier, actually, too. By the way. It's going to be difficult after that Mind Crush to try and mount your opponent, especially him having sacrifice. Throws down a disc. Puts his own sacrifice on it. And he's going to set his own back row. Alright, so both cards both players kind of mirroring what the other player did with the sacrifice plus back row plus scout option. I would imagine that Scheffer's going to start off with, probably going to try and start off with, scout play here. I mean, he got 1,000 life points for free from Upstart Goblin. And he knows what Austin has. So he should pretty much know what to do here. Okay. I wouldn't be shocked if he maybe tried to go stealth and, tribute to bounce his opponent's, well, I don't know how much that would do. If you tributed for stealth and you bounce I might even just do it. I might just bounce his shell to his hand and just try and attack. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure what you do in this situation. This match could be more skillful than I give it credit for. I just don't think it's very entertaining. I don't think it's going to be very exciting. I mean, I would think that stealth would be the monster that you get here. I might even bounce his sacrifice, honestly. And at least I know I get damage in that way. It's not a lot of damage though, so. He's got himself an Effect Veiler that will never be good in this matchup. It's not gonna do anything in this matchup for either player. Vanity's Emptiness is not gonna do a lot. Skill Drain, same thing. There's a lot of dead cards in the mirror match. You see him complete the Pendulum scale. By the way, I was watching a little Arc V or Arc 5. I still like calling it Arc V. I was watching a little Arc 5 because they're showing that during the breaks between matches. I'm not gonna lie, the show it's interesting. I think the word is charming. It's kind of charming. Some of the accents that the characters have are so over the top, with the guy that sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the fat little German kid who sounds like Uter from The Simpsons, who talks like this, and you're so good, yeah. And like, my God, the stereotypical accents, man. Alright, so it looks like he's gonna bounce the shell just so that he can get raw damage in. Yeah, I guess he could Pendulum Summon. I like how the first time Yuya Pendulum Summoned, he was dueling against the Arnold Schwarzenegger guy, and no one knew what the heck he was doing. It's like, bro, it's like he made it up on the spot. Oh, was that Helix that he tributed? Or is he bouncing a back row? It looks like Carrier to me. I guess he's using carrier. Okay, he's using carrier on the shell, and then he's going to bounce a back row with stealth effect. Keep in mind, he cannot chain. So that's a thing. And if I'm not mistaken, his sacrifice like totally fizzles too. I just thought about that. I think his sacrifice totally fizzles. So that was the obvious play. Because he can't, if I'm not mistaken, he can't resolve his opponent can't resolve his sacrifice, but you can resolve yours. So that really sucks. Now he's completely in the driver's seat. I could be wrong. No, okay, looks like he's going to get his sacrifice certs. That's my mistake. Okay. I must have been thinking of something else. So he's getting a Helix. Helix seems like a good card here. Just a pendulum, get some more damage in. He's going to get a draw regardless because he did tribute. He has monolith on the field. But I really enjoyed that. I like the first time he pendulum summoned. He was like, "What is this kid doing?" He was like, "What is a pendulum summon?" And then after he beat him, everybody was like, "Pendulum, pendulum!" All these little kids and stuff. I'm like, "Oh my god, what is this?" I like how this kid just like fucking created a summon on the spot to win a duel that no one knew existed. I'm like, wait a minute. These cards have been printed worldwide in this anime and only a handful of people know of this summon? Are you kidding? That seems utterly ridiculous. Alright, so life points, fairly even. I don't understand how Qliphort is at 7,400 when he had 9,000 life points because of the upstart. Let me just turn this up right quick. They don't update these that fast, but he did have upstart goblin. Yeah, I thought that Austin had a skill drain. I think that was the card that just got bounced, which won't really do him much good in this matchup. Both players are out of sacrifices. So it looks like he's just going to pendulum, just like Yuya did against in the anime. Pendulum, pendulum. I wish he was playing Qliphorts in the anime. Like he could have won that duel so much easier. Summon or play scout, activate, get this monolith, pendulum, tribute for stealth, win. You know what I mean? Oh, you wanted to respond? No, you can't. It's a fact. I think he just did this play so that he could just get a ton of damage in, knowing that Austin would now be on the clock as far as his scouts. He can only pretty much use it like maybe once or twice more now. I mean, from what I've seen, the Qliphort matchup is all about it's all about like getting a big board. It's all about momentum. It's kind of like the opposite of the Tellarknight matchup. The Tellarknight matchup is like whoever resolves Altier first probably is going to win. And if you resolve a Call to Haunted to an Altier, you definitely should win. So you see, he takes him down to 850 or 800. Now he can't activate Scout, so that's a thing. I think that Austin Lemire, I mean, he has a Scout is, where's my, dang, I was looking for my what's it called, my trading book or my trading binder to see what scale Scout is. I think Scout's a 1, right? Or is Scout a 9? I know that Scout and Stealth are opposite scales. And apparently Scout and Shell, yeah, Scout and Shell I think are opposite scales. No, I think Scout's a 1. I think it's Helix and Shell that are the 9s. Oh, flips over his own Vanity's Emptiness. Says, you cannot pendulum summon. You can only beat me via the normal summon, and you know that even if you run over one of my monsters, it will not go to the graveyard, and clearly, I will be able to attack you with my stuff next turn, and that is the end of that match. So let me just look at my binder right quick. Okay, it wasn't actually that far. Qliphort Scout. Oh, my bad. Qliphort Scout is a 9. Okay, so Helix and Shell are the ones. Okay, so I had it backwards. Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that I knew what he was doing. All right, so yeah, I think this matchup goes really quickly. Basically, I would imagine both players are going to side out all of their floodgate cards. Maybe Vanities will stay in. Because if nothing else, Vanity stops a pendulum summon that your opponent wants to use to counter your giant field. But I think the skill drain will come out. All the loser turns will come out. Recreate will come out. So that should pretty much free up at least 5 spots from both players, like right off the bat, for Spell and Trap Destruction. And we know one of the players is playing Mind Crush. Those will stay in. But I think that the first player who can just mount a pretty decent board is probably going to win the duel. Peter Chang, my man, is playing against Necros with Tellarknights. I like how, despite the fact that he's been banned in the past, he's still at this event and apparently doing really well. Alright, so I think actually you go second in this matchup. I think I may have said you go first, but I think you go second. But that may have been when Storm was around. Like, I don't know if Qliphort players may side Storm now, but yeah, I think a lot of that had to do with the card Storm. But I think you always wanted to go second in the Qliphort matchup because of Storm. And because there's a better chance that you can just simplify the game quicker with the back row destruction. But then again, you always have to worry about Mind Crush and your opponent getting that turn 1 scout. But you always know that you'll be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the floodgates are coming out. The floodgates are definitely going to be sided out by both players. Alright, so let's see what's going to happen here. Necros obviously just dominating the top tables along with Qliphort. Necros versus Necros. I think like 3 of the top 10 tables are Necros mirror matches, which is super fun, by the way. Who doesn't like seeing that shit? Alright. Let's turn this up and see what's happening.
They also have Shaffer's using 2 copies of Vanity's Meat in his side deck, and Lemire is using 1 copy of Vanity's Meat and 1 copy of Majesty's Meat.
Alright, so I guess there's a chance that both of them could bring out the Fiends. I mean, they're okay. I guess if you can get a big Fiend out, 2400 is pretty difficult to deal with. Okay, yeah, this is round 9. That's what I thought. They just hadn't updated this, and the what's it called? The ticker at the bottom is round 7. I was like, haven't we seen this a bunch of different times before? I don't know why it said round 8 before. This is the final round of Swiss for today. It is almost midnight on the East Coast. This is in the Central Time Zone. Tennessee is a weird state. I've driven through a good portion of Tennessee because I've been to Nashville before. Part of Tennessee, like when you leave North Carolina, where I live, when you get into Tennessee, you're in like the mountains and whatnot. When you get into Tennessee, you're in the Eastern Time Zone. When you get to like, I think it's Knoxville or something like that, you're in the Central Time Zone. It's the weirdest thing ever. So, partway through Tennessee, you end up like passing through a time zone. So if you live on another side of Tennessee, then you're in the Eastern Time Zone, which must suck if you have like family that's in the state but on the other side or something like that. So looks like Austin opened up with no scout. He has a Helix and 3 back row. Got a Pod Duality in his hands. Might want to trigger that first. Always a threat of the Mind Crush, so you might want to set some cards first. I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to set some things first and then use the Duality. You see him setting everything. Wow, double Duality. And now he's activating Pod Duality to make sure if he gets Mind Crush that he won't lose everything. You see the Vanity's Emptiness is still in there. Again, I think that is the only floodgate he will keep in. Has a Pod Duality in his hand. Looks like he's probably going to go ahead and take that Qliphort. Well, I guess he could take the Summoner's Art. He has the Summoner's Art and a Scout. So, not sure if he should really shuffle the Scout in unless he plans on taking Monolith. There's a chance. Yeah, he's just going to... I don't even know why you put the Scout back on top of your deck. So, he's just going to draw the Scout now. Give his deck a good shuffle. I think he did that just because he wanted to thin his deck out. Like, you don't want to have to worry about, drawing the Summoner's Arts after you've like, let's say the Scout gets MST'd. You don't want to, your Scout gets MST'd. Maybe your next Scout gets Mind Crushed. You don't want to have to worry about, drawing a whole bunch of Summoner's Arts after your Scouts are gone. You know, all you have is like Monolith left. Austin doesn't have anything that actually stopped the scout. That's not good. I thought that you would have had Buku, spell and trap destruction, and I'm gonna say that's a huge advantage to Schaefer. If a duel is 50-50 when it starts, then I think it's more like 80-20 now, because not only does he have one more card than Austin Lemire, but he also has a scout, a card that is a +1 every single turn for 800 life points. I'll take that any day of the week. Now, I doubt he'll search. I think there's a decent chance he might even search Recreate, or, Climate Change. That he might search Climate Change just as a way to protect himself from a top deck MST or something. But right now he's in such control. I think maybe you get your 18 guy, you try and attack, and after that you just, make sure that you can sustain your scout and your opponent can't. Looks like, oh yeah, this hand just did not seem very good for Lemire. His only monster is dead. He now has 4 cards to, I think, Austin's 7. Can Capital G count? Excuse me, Austin's 6. Capital G can't count. So that would be a +2, an advantage. And that's not how you want to start a duel. Austin Lemire may have just drawn lose a turn, or it was already in his hand. If anybody out there watching this video can explain why lose a turn is still in his deck, I want to know. I would have thought that would have been the first card in your entire deck you would have sided out. I don't think lose a turn gives you anything in this matchup, in a mirror match. Mystical Space Typhoon seems like the clear-cut choice there. Simply because if your opponent happens to get a scout, it's just going to die to MST. Oh, looks like he's taking stealth instead. Okay. I guess there is a chance he could already have an MST set though, so that might be the reason why he takes stealth. I mean, usually I wouldn't put priority over a Qliphort monster because you can just pay 800 and search it anyway, so it's not a big deal to get a Qliphort monster. The life point lead means absolutely nothing in this matchup. It's all about advantage. You see him, looks like he's going to tribute for stealth. Probably just wanting to get that Helix pop. He'll target a back row, and he'll use sacrifice. You see that he's pointing at his chain links. He's targeting that card for a bounce and a pop. Very respectful too. You see how slow he's touching his opponent's cards, not just, shoving them all to the side and shit. Very respectful player so far. Was that a Monarch Stormforth that was into the graveyard? Okay, I like that card too, by the way, in this matchup. You Monarch Stormforth for a Qliphort disc, and maybe you just win off that. Now he'll be able to trigger his sacrifice. I'm thinking Monolith. I'm thinking we're going to draw some cards here. Well, draw a card here. And, not only draw a card, but then potentially get back, your Helix to do even more damage. I guess there's a chance that Austin Lemire can flip over lose a turn or something to take less damage, or vanities, but that doesn't stop the stealth on board. That can literally just kill him by itself, dolo. So it looks like that entire time he had not activated Qliphort Scout, and now he's going to. I think he's going to get either another stealth, another Helix, or a Climate Change. Alright, he takes another Helix. Those made the most sense to me. Either get a Helix, a stealth for next turn, or a Climate Change. I'm guessing he's just going to pendulum both of his Helixes. And it looks like this is almost identical to game 1, where he did a big stealth play and then he just KO'd him with a whole bunch of battle damage. Looks like he's going to attack first. Okay, I thought he might pendulum. Pendulum. I'm sorry. I have that in my head now, where he was dueling the girl with her Melodivas, which I don't like that. I don't like that in I swear in every Yu-Gi-Oh show, the girl has to play the fucking girl deck. Like, are you serious? Why can't the girl play Blackwings, or, you know what I mean? Like, why does the girl have to play Harpies and Melodivas? And I'm trying to think of another deck that's like full of just girls that's like terrible. You know what I mean? Whatever new girl archetype is, they're gonna give that to the girl character in the show. But anyways, they were dueling and a whole bunch of kids were watching, and Yuya was trying to do the pendulum summon, and it was a whole audience of kids, and they were all just like, pendulum, pendulum, and it was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. I might have to integrate that into my videos or something like that. That shit was hilarious. Alright, so Austin Lemire still has no monsters, and there's a very legitimate chance that he may lose 3 of those sets, as I don't know what's stopping Adam Schafer from searching out a scout, pendulum summoning both of his helixes, and then just going ape you know what all over Austin Lemire's field. To me that seems like the obvious play. Once again, I don't even play this deck, but the deck is really, really easy to play. Qliphort, on a scale of like 1 to 10, I'd have to imagine it can't be higher than a 4, because these plays seem really, really obvious. Now, I wonder if he did side in climate change. Climate change is just, man, when Scout was at 3, just climate change, forget about it. It's like, oh, you MST both of my Scout or 2 Scouts out of my 3. Climate change, put them back in my hand. Now you lose because you used all your resources trying to stop my Scouts, and I still got them back, and now I have 2. So even if you had some 3rd MST, I have that covered as well. Once I get a Scout off, you know I win. Both players have so many cards in their back row. Still not a fan of white sleeves. Too many people use them. Okay, interesting enough, he left Recreate in. I guess at some point there's only so much you can side out, but I just feel like in the mirror match, so many of the cards are just dead. I don't even think Fiendish Chain's good in the mirror match. Like, it just stops one monster, and it doesn't even stop Stove, because you can't even, I mean, I guess you can stop it from attacking, but doesn't even stop it from like using its effect. I don't think Fiendish Chain's good against the mirror match. I don't think Recreate's good. Loose Turn is terrible. Vanities is actually not bad, because like if his opponent could pendulum and he had the stealth plus like a Vanities, that would like be a hard counter to that, and he would just probably win. So I'm expecting him to pendulum for the 2 helixes, and that's what he's going to do. I expect him to immediately tribute summon for stealth, unless Austin plays Solemn Warning, which would stop this. Torrential stops it too. That does buy him a turn. And you can see he even, looks like he even like had a little bit of a sigh there, like, whew, alright, I'm not dead yet. Alright, Torrential Tribute, a card I have a weird relationship with. In the past, I've said Torrential is great. I've said it's terrible. I've said it's great again. I have a very checkered past with Torrential Tribute. It's like that one girl you dated and you broke up and then you still kind of liked her, and let's just not get into that. The point is, at some points in my Yu-Gi-Oh life, I've loved Torrential. Other points I've hated it, and now I think I like it again. Alright, looks like he has yet another Helix, and while that Torrential Tribute did stop the last play, he can pretty much just replicate it this turn. In fact, it's actually going to be even worse this turn, because preemptively is going to flip over the Vanities so that he doesn't die to the pendulum summon, although he may just die to 1800 monsters now, as neither player apparently plays any back row destruction. That's why I thought Mystical Space Typhoon would have been a good take there. He cannot pendulum summon, because I mean, I think he drew a stealth, my mistake. Well, he would have been able to search out the 3rd Helix anyway. I thought he had a Helix in his hand. Like, I swear that's a Helix on the field and not a stealth. I think it is a Helix. But yeah, what he was going to do, I believe I think he was going to, pendulum all the Helixes, at once, and then he was going to search a stealth, and then he was just going to tribute summon for that stealth, and like, that was just going to be, it was going to be donezo at that point. He was going to be able to take out 4 cards in one turn, like 4 back row, that's insane. That's basically, that's like Feather Duster on crack. I mean, even if Feather Duster was like totally legal, I wouldn't expect Feather Duster to be hitting 4 cards at once. But essentially that's what would have happened. He would have lost 3 cards to Helix. He would have lost 1 card to stealth. He would have not been able to chain. Well, no, he can't tribute 3 monsters for stealth, but yeah, okay, I guess he would have just lost 3 cards then. My mistake. Yeah, you can't tribute 3 I'm like, hold on, you can tribute 3 monsters for stealth? Like, no, it's a 2 tribute. Alright, so forget that I said something dumb like that. At this point, Adam Levine he's bleeding life points. He really needs, he has a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, but it's like, it might be a little too late there for that card. He has a Pendulum, a Pendulum and Penetrable. Okay, so I guess he actually may not need climate change if he has a way of protecting his Pendulum Scale. You know, if he actually had a sacrifice here, he could probably run this back, but he doesn't. Or if he had one of the scales that gives him attack or reduces his opponent's attack. Looks like he's going to go ahead and crash. Alright, so both monsters are going to butt heads. They're both going to die. Now, I believe when he activates the Scout, he's probably going to chain that Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit in his hand. I mean, he just doesn't want his opponent getting, like, cards and cards upon cards from Scout, which he's already done, but still, at some point, you want to stop it, right? Pretty sure he'll just chain Pendulum and Penetrable to that. Activate Spell Shattering Arrow in response. He must have just recently got that. Otherwise, why wouldn't he have used it like 4 turns ago? I think now would be the good time for Pendulum and Penetrable. Unless it's in his hand and he can't play it because he has his back row locked. Which totally could be the case. Nope, sorry. I think I had both players. Yeah, I had it mixed up. It's Adam who has the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Okay, I had it totally messed up. Yeah, I had it totally backwards. So, looks like oddly enough, neither player can really do anything. There's the Summoner's Art. So now Austin Lemire is the one who finally is able to get Scout. And believe me, this could turn everything around, but he does have like Adam has Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. He's probably just waiting for Austin to just activate the Scout and pay the effect. Pay that cost, that 800 life points, try and trigger it so that he can simply discard it. He can pop that Scout and go about his merry way. And you see that he says, alright, that's good. He's not throwing that Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit on the field. Scout is going to get blown up. Unless he activates Pendulum and Penetrable, which means that it will not get blown up. This could be big. He actually had an answer to the answer. Now, how many of Adam Schafer's cards are just not, like, can't do anything? My man has 7 cards, and they just don't really seem to do much. Now, Pendulum and Penetrable. There we go. I can pronounce it. Kind of. It is a quick play, so, you know, you can play it straight from your hand if you are the turn player anyways. Or unless you're playing in like the Pegasus Challenge and they make up some crazy rule. Cause they did do that a lot today. Like, watch that video if you haven't. The question is, what is he gonna get? I think if you have a monster, the number 1 card I would go after is Sacrifice. I'd try and get the biggest monster on the board. If my opponent doesn't have a Scout, then yeah, cause really, you're only 2 attacks from winning the duel. Like, both players have paid so many life points, essentially, with their Scouts. Well, actually, no. Adam paid all his life points. Like, he paid himself into debt, and Austin just got beat the crap. Like, he just got beat the hell down. That's why he's at like 3,000 life points. So they're both at around 3,000 life points. They took vastly different routes to get there. Looks like he's going to get himself a Helix. That's going to get Mind Crushed. He has no hand, so once again, he has opted not to simply Mind Crush the Scout. I don't quite understand that. Seems like you could just take out the problem right then and there. It worked out in game 1, so I guess he felt like he could do it again. His opponent does have an empty board. And it looks like he has a stealth in his hand anyway, so he does have a monster. Yeah, that's definitely a stealth. I know my card artwork, and that is a stealth. I would not be surprised if he didn't activate the Upstart Goblin, mainly because he's 2 attacks from winning. Why give your opponent more life points and give them a potential turn to extend the duel? especially if you don't have an answer to a potential scout that you could be giving them. Like that extra turn could end up, being a scout that they get. So you do better just attacking for the 1800 and only using the upstart if you absolutely positively need to. But right now he doesn't need to. Fiendish Chain is played. I think now I'd probably use the upstart goblin, because now it's not like your damage has been halted, so you're not getting anything out of your scout. Looks like he's not going to do that though. As Austin Lemire looks at his next card, it'd be nice if he could complete his Pendulum Zone. I mean, that's another thing. Can either player actually complete the P scale where they can just pendulum, like a Pendulum Summon would just win the duel right now. Both players have tons of resources invested in the Pendulum Scale, or in the extra deck. Okay, so he's activating that Scout for a sacrifice. He didn't take any damage during his last turn, so Lemire's in pretty good shape here. Getting himself that ever important sacrifice. I think it says that he has a disc in his hand, actually, so he would be able to totally attack over that stealth, have that 300. Oh, no, he wouldn't. If I'm not mistaken, that stealth is 2800 attack, so that's the thing. If he normal summons his disc, it will be 1800. So yeah, don't attack into that. Think that dude's attack is 2800. That would be an issue. I also think it's level 8 right now too, in case he just like top deck the monster. I don't think he can exceed with it. Oh, looks like he's going to instead play that disc and the Pendulum Zone. I'm going to guess that disc is a level 9 then. Like I guess that it's a P scale 9. I know it's a level 7. Okay, there's the Pendulum Summon. And Schaefer is going to respond with what? It's not going to be Upstart Goblin. I know that. He's thinking. A duel that looked like it was absolutely in Adam Schaefer's, it looked like it was in his grasp. The entire duel. Now it looks like it's been completely ran back. Now Austin can only pay for Scout one more time, so keep that in mind. He only has one more in him. Okay, looks like he's gonna block that Pendulum Summon with Solemn Warning, giving up pretty much 2/3 of his life, and pass his turn. Oh, Book of Moon is used, and he gives him the immediate handshake. Book of Moon would essentially make his monster no longer equipped to the Fiendish Chain. He would then just be able to flip over the Qliphort stealth and attack. So timely Solemn Warning got him there. It just looked like he was finally able to use some of his defensive cards that he had been holding on to forever. So commanding win there, and it looks like he'll definitely be going to day 2.